Hi, Dr. Partial. It's me, Whitney here. I did my forest study project on red maple trees. I found out that they're classified as super generalists, that they can grow in the understory and be shade tolerant, and also they um, can be part of the canopy and handle the sun. They also are adaptable to both mesic and hydric soils. Um, So my first forest study site was a red maple swamp near Congamon Lake by my house in Southwick. This spot caught my eye, well, obviously because I see it every day, but also because in the basin of the swamp, there's it's very wet soil, and sometimes there's standing water, and it's totally dominated by red maples within the basin of the swamp. And my second study spot was, excuse me, Hemlock Forest, also located in Southwick. This I wouldn't say is dry soil. I would say probably mesic because I did see some springs popping up around there. And besides the hemlocks, which dominated the stand, there were also some really big white pines, um, oak trees, and other stuff around. Just to give perspective, in the red circle is the swamp, which is located right by Congamon Lake. And in the yellow circle is the Lupinski Land Preserve, which is located closer to the university, which is down in the left-hand corner of the screen. My hypothesis was that the red maples growing in the swamp would have more challenges than the ones growing in the hemlock forest, just because swamps have really hydric soil that is anoxic. So I thought that would be a hostile growing situation for the red maples there. So I hypothesized that if I found red maple in each spot with similar DBHs, that the older tree would be in the swamp then, and the younger one would be in the hemlock forest. So the swamp is in a basin, and I this image here is to show that it's either a surface water depression wetland or a ground water depression wetland, because the forest is located like down the banks from a drier area. So to test my hypothesis, I used dendrochronology. I located first a red maple in the hemlock forest because they were less abundant there. And I took the DBH in a core sample, and then I went to the swamp and found a trees with similar DBH, and took a core sample of that. And then I dried and mounted the core samples, and I aged the trees, and I analyzed the growth patterns. And I found that the red maples in the swamp were much younger than the red maples in the hemlock forest. Um, so one of the trees from the swamp was 40, had a DBH of 41. Um, and it had like consistent years of growth. There was some variation between the rings, but like generally it was like it it added biomass pretty consistently every year. So that tree was 65 years old. And then in the hemlock forest, I found one that was just a little bit bigger and one that was just a little bit smaller. And they were both 107 years. And the number four with the DBH at 38 was at least 116 years. I was missing part of the bark side of the core. But the growth pattern there shows um a lot of years of minimal biomass being added, and then some years of release. So the top one, number 3, which is got the DBH of 43.6, you can see that there were years where the photosynthesis was very limited, and then until like 2000, there must have been a disturbance which allowed the tree to do a lot of photosynthesis and really pack on some biomass, which it had not done um, in its previous 100 years of existence. And you can see uh, between 2010 and or in 2020, there was also it had returned to being a difficult growing years. And the same with the other sample from the hemlock forest. Uh, it just consistently grew, but at a very slow rate. So since my hypothesis was wrong, and I did more research about the red maple, um, I found out that most the red maple swamp is the most abundant swamp in Massachusetts, and they often dominate 90% of the wetland canopy. Um, and you can see here on the left, the photo shows like all the red maples in the swamp have like that lean towards the sun. They're all like maximizing photosynthesis. They're spread out on the right. You can see that so each tree that's growing in these harsh conditions, even if they can't, if the soil's not great for growing, they still maximize the space by being able to get enough sunlight. And I found out that just because the swamps are anoxic and hydric doesn't mean that they're not good at cycling nutrients. They the macrophytes that dominate the area make that possible. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my nephews, Caleb on the left and Daniel on the right. This photo is 10 years old, at least, but they were a little hesitant about being in my slideshow. Um, so I just, went on the public domain of Facebook and snagged a picture from their mom and put it up here. They were really helpful, and it was fun sharing the project with them. And hopefully you're looking at two future forest ecologists. All right, thanks for listening. Bye.